I'm joined by Peggy Nolan, one of Longford's most prominent councillors over the last number of years. Peggy, you've been a long time in Longford County Council. Why should people re-elect you now?
Well, if people that know me and that have voted for me in the past would know my passion, my love of the county and my belief in the people of the county. They have served me well in the past, and I hope that they will remember me this time round as well. You're right to say that I am a long-standing councillor, but that's because I believe what I bring to the table is a sense of truth and fairness, and my belief that Longford has not been served right by previous governments, and indeed this government has a lot to do to undo the unfairness that we have faced over the past 15 years.
Okay, let me expand on that point with you, because you are a Fine Gael councillor.
Yes.
And many people would say that you're entirely correct that Longford has been forgotten for quite some time. But there is a feeling in many quarters that has even accelerated in recent years under the current government, and which is your party. Do you feel that's a fair assessment?
No, it isn't a fair assessment. Now, first of all, can I qualify what I'm going to say by saying, yes, I took a party pledge. But taking a party pledge doesn't mean that you sign away your beliefs and you sign away your passion for what drives you in local government. I'm on Longford County Council for the past 10 years and on Longford Town Council for the past 15 years. And what drove me, first of all, into politics in the first place was the absolute removal of services, health services, from my county. When I was growing up in Longford, we had a county hospital on the Battery Road. We had a clinic where people could go on the Dublin Road and receive treatment for every ailment, from ear, nose and throat to ophthalmic services to cardiology services. Most of that we had to fight to retain. We lost our hospital. We in Longford paid and helped support the building of a Phase 2B, a large extension to Mullingar Hospital. The politics at that time, when this elusive Celtic tiger was roaring through our country, we didn't even, I don't think that we even got a taste of what was happening, because the Celtic tiger, I don't think he knew where Longford was. We had Phase 2B in Mullingar Hospital that was built, fitted out. Even the linen was on the beds of that whole new unit, and it was left idle while the government of the day, and in later years in that government, Brian Cowan became Taoiseach, while that was standing idle at a cost of multiples of millions to heat it and to have it lit, to make it look as though there was beds and patients in it. He built a hospital in Tullamore that is state of the art, that has everything being delivered from that hospital that should have been delivered from Mullingar. Now you tell me that my government, Fine Gael, are neglecting Longford and that it hasn't started. The rot started a long time ago.
That may be, and I think many people might agree with you on that point. But can you actually point us to anything that has happened since the 2011 election that actually signifies that Fine Gael cares about Longford or has done anything to redress that imbalance in any way in health services or any other area in Longford? Because what people are seeing is more and more services being devolved to places like Mullingar. They're seeing more and more, to be it from VECs to health services, and less facilities, less services and less outreach being delivered in places like Longford in the last number of years than ever before. So while it's very, very well to criticise the last government, and people will agree with you on that, it is time to step up to the plate and say this government needs to deliver for Longford now.
Well, again, anybody that knows me will know that I do that on a daily basis. Because at the moment, I've just finished an interview for a local radio station, telling the Minister that he must step up to the plate with regards to retention of the cardiology clinic.
Is he listening to you, though, Peggy?
Well...
Have you had any contact with this minister?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
Have you met with him?
Yes, I have.
And what has he told you about his personal priorities for Longford in terms of health?
there is no personal priorities for anywhere in the country. What the Minister is doing at the minute, he is trying to keep it all together. We have crossed swords on numerous occasions because he doesn't have the reserves or the resources. He is trying to keep everything going as it is, and then I believe, and if I didn't believe this, I couldn't remain a party member, I believe that when regionalisation and the restructuring of our acute hospital services are in place, and when more funding becomes available, I would absolutely demand that Longford is looked at as a special case. Longford is an impoverished county and Fine Gael hasn't the resources to do it. If they did and they weren't doing it, I would certainly step up to the plate. But I can tell you when the money was available and when Longford was being absolutely neglected, when we had a Taoiseach.
But Peggy,
Can you tell
Peggy, no.
But can I ask you,
know
can anybody tell me, when we had the Taoiseach of the country living in our county, where or what did he do? Absolutely nothing.
We could get into that argument. We'd waste your entire interview on that argument alone of going back over. But right now, as you say, this is an impoverished county. It's difficult, and people are sick to the back teeth of everybody going back over, well, the last crowd did this 20 years ago or failed to do this, so it's okay for us not to do anything now. Services are cut right across the county. If you are currently in a nursing home in Longford, Mullingar Hospital will contact the nursing home to tell you you have an appointment in that hospital. If you need wheelchair access, the only way you can get is if your family are willing to pay for that wheelchair taxi to take you to Mullingar at a cost of anywhere up to €150 to get to an appointment. There's no account taken of the length of time it'll take, there's no account taken of the times of the appointments, and there's no account taken of the cost. Now that's something a minister could sort out if they had a little bit of ingenuity, a little bit of awareness and a real care for the people of Longford. Things like that could be sorted and the council could play a role in it. I mean, why aren't we focused on that rather than this inter-party bickering? Why can't councillors come together and say, let's deliver for Longford?
Well, I could be disingenuous and say that they're all your words, but Johnny, you must have been reading my press releases and you must have been following what I'm doing for the past 10 years, because I really don't care who's in government when it comes to delivering for the county of Longford. First of all, it's a daily chore. It's not a chore, it's a daily privilege for me to keep an eye on what's happening with the retention of services, with the retention of bed capacity in St. Joseph's. I have been called a scaremonger, which in effect has been called a liar, because I have to fight on a daily basis with a HSE regional manager who is not forthcoming and is not
very... Have you not said this to the Minister? I mean,
yes,
the Minister
I most
is
certainly
the
have.
Can the
yes.
Minister not sort out this HSE manager that's such a difficulty for you?
Well,
I mean, it's your party,
yes,
Peggy. You go in there, you tell the Minister, do your job, and the Minister does his job, problem sorted.
Yeah, but you know that's not how it works.
It should
I mean,
be,
if
though,
that's
Peggy.
yeah, but it should be for all parties. If it should be for me now, when the rot started, it should have been for other councillors from the governing party to do it then, but they didn't.
But their failures don't excuse the failures of today.
No, they don't, and I'm not trying to say they should. But can I just say that we waited for 18 months for a meeting with this particular HSE manager to come and lay out his stall with regards his service plan for the county and for the region that provides health services to Longford. He came to the meeting and he knew we had to submit the questions beforehand. One of the main questions was the lack of ambulance cover in the county. He didn't allow anyone come from the ambulance service to answer the questions that I had ready for him. There's a new configuration of hospital services. He didn't allow the hospital manager, to come to that meeting. So the questions that were relevant to the questions you have just put to me, I couldn't get them answered from somebody who has responsibility for a service plan for the delivery of health services in the county. Now, he is given that task by a minister. He has a budget. And he told me, not the minister, the executive of the HSE told me, he will cut and slash as he sees prudent to bring his budget in on target. Now, if I had the ear of the minister, I can only tell him, and I have, what's going on. So he has people right across the country with responsibility for the delivery of a health service coming in under budget, and that's their charge. And they seem to have carte blanche to do whatever they want. It's not working for Longford. The Minister knows it isn't working for Longford.
And if it continues to fail to work for Longford, will you take action?
I have been taking action on a daily basis.
Would you leave the party if you felt that health services were not being delivered to the correct level in Longford?
They have never been delivered for the past 15 years.
But in the future, in the next 5 years, you're going into a council term. If the services are not delivered, would you walk away from Fine Gael?
I would walk away from Fine Gael if, when they turn the country round financially, and they still...
Things are already improving, Peggy. They're going to have,
yes.
We're going to have tax cuts coming in because we're going to have money in this budget and we're going to spend it on tax cuts, not on health services. Now, things are improving. If we're to believe the government rhetoric on the economy, things are improving. Now, surely you should be seeing even some small improvements in it. If over the next 5 years you don't see that, would you be willing to take action and stand down from Fine Gael?
I'm willing to take action. I am willing to do whatever it takes. I hope it doesn't come to that. But I would be a woman of principle. And if I see that Longford, if the good times come back again, and if Longford is not getting its fair share of the national cake, well then I will sit and rethink my allegiance. Absolutely.
Peggy, one of the issues in Longford has been job creation. Longford's become a bit of an unemployment black spot. And a project you've been very closely involved with has been the idea of Iceland, the store, moving to Longford. This has been in the media quite a lot, but people are concerned that this is all just happy talk at this stage and nothing is really happening on it. Can you give people any idea of what's the background to this Iceland story and what's the truth behind it?
Well, first of all, Iceland decided that they were going to have major investment in Ireland and open up numerous retail outlets right across Ireland. And I heard this on a local radio station. I rang the station and I got the number and the email address of the CEO of the company. I made contact, and having made contact, I discovered that Longford was not on their radar. So I set up a meeting for the director with responsibility for looking at sites and opening up their stores, who told me he would be passing through Longford on his way to Tullamore, where they were definitely opening a store, and he could give us 10, 15, 20 minutes. So I arranged pre his visit with the county manager and the person with responsibility for job creation in the county council to meet with the CEO, with the person with responsibility for finding locations for the opening of new stores. He was very impressed with his reception and with the presentation that he was privy to in Longford, and on the basis of that he decided that Longford would be one of the towns where they would be opening up a retail presence. So they went ahead and they purchased a building for the outlet, but I believe the hold up, and this is what I've been told, was that the banks advised that they had overstretched and that they weren't to open any more retail outlets in 2013. So Longford is very much on the radar for 2014. The premises is purchased. It's still a very, very live very live project, and I believe a couple of weeks ago I was told, actually as I was canvassing, that people are looking forward to the opening of the shop, and they had seen in the local paper that planning permission was sought for a sign to be erected over the premises that is bought in a shopping centre in Longford. So it is not just rhetoric, it's not just me talking the talk and not being prepared to walk the walk. It is something that's very live. And can I just add that when you hear of somebody wishing to locate in Ireland, multinationals, I find that it behoves me to try and make contact with those individuals. I know that there's a national agency out there that's supposed to be doing it. They haven't been doing it. They haven't had a president in Longford in 8 years.
Well,
so as far as I'm concerned,
Peggy, just on that, expand that point out then, should it not be a case that you should get a group of councillors together rather than one councillor doing this, and that there's a little bit of a problem here of councillors chasing after it on their own to get the news? You should have a group of councillors making that presentation. Well,
I didn't really have time. And
but in future, would it be something you would do?
In future, what I would love to see is Longford County Council give the IDA, they engage with the IDA, and they give Fáilte Ireland 25,000 a year to promote Longford, and the IDA is supposed to be bringing people to Longford. We're not on the radar because we don't have gateway or hub status, and that's where all the industrialists and people wishing to invest in the country are guided towards. So what I would love is, as a pilot project, let central government give us a budget. Let's put a councillor from each party on a small subcommittee and give us a budget and let us go out and meet with those people, because nobody can sell a product like people that believe in it. And that's something I will be mooting at the next County Council meeting.